All right, Bertie. It is episode number 123.
Which is convenient because that's how we count. And who teaches us how to count?
Teachers.
Teachers.
Whoa. That should have been a shell bomb. Holy moly. Well, today we had the wonderful Kevin Kane. He has a wrestler's name, I think.
Kevin Kane.
Kevin Kane.
Yeah.
Or an action hero.
Yeah, he could be in Marvel because he's KK.
Yeah, that's true. And he is a GAA star. Or he was a GAA star.
Yes.
So he could, if he was in the peak, as he said, his peak physical fitness when he was 10 stone, and he could have been in action movies and everything.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
He's a teaching extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. That's done. He was basically on the podcast talking about teaching.
Yes.
He's taught in England. He's currently teaching in Ireland. How he got into it, his love for teaching, and why maybe you could pick that as a career for yourself.
Yes. So listen in. We had our usual news. We had our usual shell bombs of the day, and Kevin joined us for the Waffle Game also. So will we name this wonderful podcast?
Yes.
Right, Bertie, I'm going to give you what I think is a pretty smart little name.
Oh, yes.
And it's going to be called Can You Teach Me Something New?
Oh, okay. I was going to go with A Few Good Teachers.
That's terrible.
Well, A Few Good Men is his favourite Tom Cruise movie.
A Few Good Teachers.
You know, you
that's
could put,
pretty good then, I suppose.
You could put his head and all the people on the logo.
That's way too much work.
Oh, is it?
Plus, I've got the poster done already.
Oh, okay. So can we do it?
Can we do it? Give me another Tom Cruise movie really quickly that we can put Kane into. Let me think. Days of Mission no.
Days of Kane.
No. The Kane. Oh, I don't know.
Teaching Impossible.
Yeah, there you go.
I got there eventually.
Teaching Impossible. I love that. That's actually pretty good. And then when we get him back on, we can call it Teaching Impossible 2.
And 3. And 4.
That's very good. All right, Bertie. So I guess it's me going to be lining you up today.
Yes.
So today's episode is number 123.
Teachers Impossible. I love that song. I love that John. I love that John. Get off your phone, will you? Oh, sorry. Have we started? We have started. Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Absolutely have started.
What is the story? We are back.
Yeah.
The JB Waffle Hour podcast.
Yes.
Wherever you see us, make sure you rate, like, share, subscribe,
Absolutely.
comment, interact with us.
Yeah.
Because it'll keep it, especially on Spotify if you follow us, because it'll keep us in like your newsfeed, so you see when we get all like new episodes and shit.
Yeah, if you want. If you think we're shite, then don't. I suppose.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But then don't rate us. Only rate us if you like us.
We are exploding on Instagram.
Yeah.
Have you seen it recently? Jeannie Mac.
That love place.
It's
to do with your good editing, Scotty.
Thanks,
and
man. Thanks. Did you like my
with my caption making?
My little zoom in
it's teamwork.
Earlier on, or last week on the Stephen Pearl video.
Oh yeah. We'll get to that in our correspondence.
Oh, okay.
But first, just to let you know, this is episode 123. So hello everybody.
123.ie.
This is the full hug, the whole 9 yards, the very big loveliness of podcast hour.
Oh my God.
I was going to say something else there about the size of things, and then I said maybe that's not the time or place.
We never have a hope of getting an LMFM if we talk like that.
No. So quick flashback to our previous episodes,
Backflash.
but quick bites and the full pod.
Yes.
We talked about the sweet man that came around in the van.
Yes, Magic Dan.
Yes, his
Sweetie
name,
man.
I couldn't think of his first name. We have since got some correspondence
Okay.
confirming that his name was Andy. Pearl, no idea if he's still about, unfortunately, but I probably should check that.
And apparently was some sort of relation to Stephen Pearl.
Stephen, yep. And I think Paul got in touch as well.
Paul Crass did, yes.
Yep.
Well done, Paul Crass.
He was down the road from me, so he would have called him too.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Highest fan.
I knew there was something wrong with the
fruit,
rugby.
vegetables, sweets, the whole lot.
Some boy Magic Dan, wasn't he, in fairness?
Yep.
So we've that bit of correspondence tied up. That's nice.
Yes.
That's for once we've got something tied up.
That's it. Tied up in a nice little package.
Do you remember the band that we tried to get onto the podcast and then we never followed through on it? You loved them.
We seem to say a lot. You see, we really need to get one of those, not magic boards, what's the boards? Mood boards.
Yeah.
Or planning boards.
Right.
And when we say something, we need to write it down because we constantly forget it. Because we're like, oh, we said that and we've recorded ourselves saying it. So we can just go back and find what we said, but we never did.
Yeah. Will we go back and find what we said? I don't think
so. It was
a
Youth Mass.
Youth Mass.
One of my favourite songs is Tony, Don't You Worry.
Yeah, there you go. How you boys?
Yeah, and they recorded the video in Boardsmill Hall.
Very good. Any more shout-outs? My brother got in touch with a little bit of correspondence as well, which I'll bring up a little bit later.
Okay.
Which you'll find out about. Actually, it'll be in the Short Bites episode.
Excellent. Oh, and a big shout out to Chris. He is the face of the road policing unit on TikTok.
Oh, Chris
Lynch.
Chris Lynch, that's him. Yes. I have a great memory of Chris Lynch.
Fantastic voice and look for TikTok. Fair play to him.
Can I tell you a little bit of my story about Chris Lynch?
Yes.
We were in the old. Actually, I don't remember whose class it was, but it was in the old primary anyway. Yes. In the Boyne Community School. What was was it St Michael's? No, it was Boyne at that stage, and someone who shall not be named was picking on someone else who should not be named, and was just kind of.
The JB Waffle Hour does not condone bullying.
No, we don't, and we're not going to name anyone.
No,
but basically,
anonymity.
Chris Lynch was then picked on, and he basically turned around and square punched someone right in the face, who was a little bit of a bully in the school. And I think silenced him for the rest of his time in that school.
Nice.
So well done, Chris. No one knew that he
always had
was
a calling for law and order.
He was a boxer, wasn't he? Didn't he do boxing?
I have no idea.
I heard a rumour. Now, this could be just wild fantasy
I've
rumour.
only seen like the newest Chris Lynch movie. I haven't seen Chris Lynch Origins.
Yeah, Chris Lynch origin story. Well, I think there was a boxer in there. Chris, if you could confirm, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite the punch. It was beautiful.
Nice.
Right in the nose.
Boom.
So yeah, come here to me, Bertie. Are we going on to the news time?
News time.
All right, let's do it, man. Okay, do you remember, Bertie, a young lady called Bambi Thug, who we were talking about in the podcast a little while ago?
Oh yes, she's representing Ireland in the Eurovision.
She is indeed representing Ireland.
Stockholm. Is
yes.
it? Is it in Stockholm?
I don't know, and I pretty much don't care.
It's coming up next month.
Anyway, Bambi Thug, she was complaining that her song was never on the radio, and someone made a very, very good point. They said a radio DJ, senior radio DJ source, said that could you hum Doomsday Blue? Could you hum it?
Do 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 do.
Da 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 da. BN. No, that's not right.
No.
So yes, basically he said that. That's not it either. He was like, could you hum it? Then no, it's pretty much game over for that song when it comes to being played in the radio. She has noticed that
there are very few songs from the Eurovision that make it into the radio mainstream.
Yeah.
I
am the wind of the night and the
well, like I know Mickey Joe Hart one was obviously, but the most famous one was the one in 2012. Was it?
What was Mickey Joe Hart's
Euphoria?
We got the world tonight. What was Euphoria?
Do you know one comes out in the light and she's singing? It's like a dancey song. Euphoria.
All right, no, I don't remember that. Anyway, let me go back to my news. Bambi Thug then said, well, her name is, or was it? No, sorry. Last week the host Louise Duffy admitted she wasn't playing Doomsday Blue. She said that I can appreciate what they are doing and how special it is in its own way and in its own area, but I wouldn't be playing it on my show because I feel it's too jarring or maybe an older listener. So Bambi Thug has denied that the new piano jazzy version of Doomsday Blue, which sounds
jazzed it up a bit?
Yeah, which sounds like more like a
jazz hands in
Barbra Streisand than Nine Inch Nails, was an attempt to land a play on Irish radio stations. So she re-recorded it a little bit.
So Lorien, Euphoria won the Eurovision in 2012 when it was actually in Sweden that year too. So
Very good. You played there in the
and-
background. There's going to be a big hole in our audio now because I'm not going to actually put this audio in. Play it for me there.
You know. Euphoria.
What year was that?
2012.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Oh.
Okay, so moving on to my other news. That didn't really land for me, that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was on the radio.
I must have missed that. Did that win Eurovision?
It won Eurovision, yeah.
Very good. Well done, Ireland. Our next piece of news. The saga that is the FAI recently. People being offered jobs and then people being rumoured to take jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And then people turn around and saying, I don't want that job. I wasn't even considering that job. And then it going on again to the next person saying this and that and the
I
other.
think the rumour from So Scare, I think I started that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
No way. Why?
Because I heard him on the Stick to Football
Yeah.
with Neville and Keane, and he was talking about like he's not doing anything at the moment, and that he liked Ireland and stuff, and he'd consider like international management. And I think he done quite well at United. I think that he should have left him at United, but
I made a comment on Instagram there the other day, and it was like, we don't care anymore who's going to be the manager. You guys just appoint someone, and then we'll find out at the next match. Just stop talking about it.
it's more
We're
likely
done.
going to be John O'Shea now at this stage, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I've given up hope now that it'll be anyone decent. But Jonathan Hill steps down as the FAI of
CEO.
the CEO of FAI.
That's a lot of letters, isn't it?
Yeah, too many three-letter things there. And the news comes after Hill's early 2024 controversy when it came to light that the CEO received a payment of nearly 12k in lieu of annual leave, which was against the FAI's own staff rulebook, which I have read, and yes, it is against that. So Hill then repaid the money, as well as another 8,000 benefit in kind received for commuting expenses. He probably lives right next door to Abbottstown. After an audit found his salary had breached the limit. The FAI, now, I am gainfully employed by the FAI, so I better not say too much.
Yeah, you better not say too much.
But lads, come on, sort it out. Please. We'll at the end of the month now. I'm just not going to get paid.
We have listened to your podcast. We've decided not to pay you.
Just hope that yeah. But anyway, look, give me your tip, Bertie. Let's start a rumour live on the not live, but on the JB Waffle Hour. Who is going to be the next Ireland manager? Who do you tip?
Well, that's what I was saying about Solskjaer, but it's probably too expensive.
Pick someone else. He's already turned it down. He said no
and
already.
I've said about Will Still.
Oh, well, that's a good one. Yeah.
But I think you need someone like that. But then apart from that, I think Tony Pulis. I'd like him.
Right. Okay. So just one.
Okay, sorry.
So are we gonna push Pulis?
I think so. He's Welsh.
Yeah. Let's push Pulis.
He's managed over 1,000 professional games.
Is he the guy that danced on the sideline for Newcastle?
No, that's Alan Pardew.
Oh yeah. Okay. Who's Pulis? Oh, he wore the caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take him. Yeah.
And was West Brom. He was with Stoke. He was with.
Yeah,
he got the best out of maybe an average team.
Good lad. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I'd be up for him. You know, if you can manage on a wet Tuesday in Stoke, you can
And
manage.
I think
in
he's
Ireland.
only in his early 60s as well. So
Yeah, I'll take him.
You know.
I'll take him. Okay, so Pulis for Ireland. That's the one we're starting right here, right now. Okay, last piece of news, Berticus. Kurt Cobain, I don't know if you knew this, but Kurt Cobain was due to perform in Dublin the day his body was found.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So his body was found in Dublin.
No, he was found in the States, like,
But
they were due to fly over.
Oh, right, okay.
And play. I think they'd put stuff off, didn't he? He was in Italy or something, and then he flew home after.
Is he the baby sued him?
Who?
The baby off the cover.
Da Baby. Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's got money off them.
No way.
Yeah, I think so.
For putting his PP in an album.
Yeah, but like only recently he's done it.
I wonder if it's still the same size. But anyway, 30 years ago today, Kurt Cobain was tragically found, as we know. But they were due to perform in Dublin that same day. He was presumed to have died on the 5th of April 1994, just 3 days prior to Nirvana's scheduled gig in the RDS, which is very, very sad. But anyone who has young teenage kids, I would advise get them into a bit of Nirvana. Just for the crack. Get that angst out there.
Yeah, what's that one song they have that's really good?
Smells like Teen Spirit. Don't say that. Don't say it smells like Teen
Oh
Spirit.
no, I was doing the joke, there.
Oh, right.
What's that one song?
All right.
They're all sensitive.
Right, come here to me. That is the end of my news, Bertie, and it's time to get on to our main...
Oh, well, I just had a little bit of news.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, not a little bit of news, just a little bit of something to talk about.
Right, go on, do it, buddy.
Which I think might be relevant.
Okay.
I seen a video on TikTok.
Vidya.
Maybe I'll just start this as a segment on this. But yeah, so it's obviously like a little bit of a piss take.
Right.
And it's about like apologies.
Right, okay.
So I don't know if you've seen or whatever, but it's about like a constable. Oh, that should be playing. A constable being in like a press conference or whatever, apologising for using certain phrases.
All right.
And I just think it's funny the way phrases have gone now that like kind of everybody gets kind of offended and thing. So in the first one, he's apologising to the Chinese community
Right, okay.
for using the phrase Chinese whispers. And then he says about some people have gone mental, and then he apologises to the Mental Illness Society for using the word gone mental. Then another apology then is I think this might be a Scottish thing now about Aberdeen and the Aberdonians.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that one now. And then the other one is what's he doing? Something about the blind or something.
The deaf community.
Yeah, the deaf community, and then he apologised deaf community. And I just thought it was funny, like, there's so many phrases now that you could actually probably see that you're not allowed to use anymore because somebody's been offended.
Well, I mean,
I just think that's bad.
What is the underlying lesson from all of this, Bertie?
I don't know.
Never apologise for anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't start, because then you won't ever stop.
Exactly.
Someone's always going to be offended by something you do.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a very special guest.
Who's our guest, Bertie?
So I was thinking lately about kind of teaching and things like that, and I was talking to Kevin before, and he taught in England and he taught in Ireland, and he was telling stories about teaching in England, and I realised how vastly different it is about different way of getting into teaching, the way the school is graded and inspections and things like that, and the standards of schools in England versus Ireland. So I thought it might be really interesting to get him on.
So we're going to have a chat with Kevin Kane.
Yeah, Kevin Kane from Longford.
I suppose there's a lot of teachers in my family. Like, if I was there's probably about 6 different teachers in my family, with cousins and that. My sister's a teacher as well. She's younger. Mom is the secretary in my old secondary school. So I suppose education has kind of always been in the family. So when I went into secondary school, it was kind of always something I wanted to do myself. I used to kind of looking after my younger cousins and stuff, babysitting them whenever. Used to look forward when they were coming down from Dublin and things like that. So I always kind of got on well with kids. So then doing the leaving, it was kind of the natural thing that I wanted to do. I decided to go in and around the arts way about it. So I went to Pat's in Drumcondra, did 3 years there, did Irish as a degree, and geography, which was definitely tough. Like, I mean, the hours were great, but I tell you, Irish was very, very tricky, but managed to get a degree in that. And then after that, after 3 years there, I applied for a postgrad in Brunel University in Uxbridge in Middlesex, and went over there for a year. Again, that was very tough, and it was tough kind of leaving home, going over to England. I didn't know anybody else over there. I have cousins over in East London, but they were relations I was only going to see maybe once every few weeks or once every month or so. So that was kind of challenging. And yeah, so worked there for a year, becoming a teacher, studying, and then taught there for 7 years after that. So put in more time in England than I expected. It was only supposed to be a year, ended up being 7 years.
And then when you went to St. Pat's and you done arts, you didn't do the primary school teaching first, or did you not know that you wanted to be a teacher even at that stage?
No, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I suppose I didn't get enough points to do the course, I suppose, was the biggest thing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, but I didn't want to insult you.
Yeah. Thanks, Bertie. You're after bringing up old demons there. So I didn't probably maybe work hard enough to get the number of points. It wasn't that far off, but I still didn't get the required amount. So,
and did you look was that like Marino or was Frebel? Well, I think Frebel's actually more points than St. Pat's, isn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't much in the difference. I think there was only like maybe 10 or 20 points in the difference or so. It was very, very little anyway. And just that was the next thing I put down. I put down arts and I put down Pat's, because I don't know. I suppose it was the college that was known for teaching, or for teaching, and then I suppose the arts. I just kind of wanted to follow that up because I thought maybe after 3 years that I'd maybe get back into the postgrad in Pats. I did the interview there, but like competition for that is very, very stiff. Didn't get into that either. So I suppose the big reluctance was to go over to England, which I didn't want to do because I was kind of like Dramard is my parish in Longford. It's all football, football, football. And like I was part of a very good under-21 football team that won 6 A championships in a row. I obviously wasn't underage for them all. I was underage for and started on 3 of them. So then, kind of moving into senior football, we won a senior football championship in 2005 and 2007. So it was very difficult to leave the club at that point because we were very successful. So I didn't really want to leave, but I had to. Like it was for my own career and job. So I suppose you just have to park football at that point.
Mm. And did you was there a list of ones that you tried for England, or why did you pick the one that you went to?
Yeah, I did. I did 2 interviews. The first one I did was Strawberry Hill, and I think if I remember correctly, that's in Roehampton, which is I think West London as well. But I just I didn't. Funny enough, I didn't get that. And then I think I did an interview the same weekend in Brunel, and that's in Uxbridge, and I got that. So I went for 2, got 1, and I just took it. So I suppose if I didn't get that, I was going to keep trying another couple till I got it, and then like it was always something I was going to do anyway. So
and in those colleges in England, is that specific primary school teaching, or was that like another step in order to be a primary school teacher?
No, it was specific. So it was a year-long course, just a postgraduate course. And I mean, it was grand, like but the amount of Irish over there was absolutely mental. Like I think there was about maybe 200 in my year group or something like that, and there was about 100. I'd say 100 Irish. Like it was really, really.
And would it they been on the same boat that they couldn't get in to do the postgrad or whatever in Pats, or because there's only a small number of courses in Ireland, like I said, between Marino and Freble, and then obviously you have Hibernia, but Hibernia is very expensive as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think 9 times out of 10, I'd say the people on those courses are probably people that maybe, well, I won't say 9 out of 10. I'd say maybe 5 out of 10 will be in that boat. Maybe maybe another 3 or 4 out of 10 were probably people that went into other jobs, didn't like it, and then they've gone back into teaching. And I'd say, like, even talking to Leaving Certs now or whatever that were involved with football, like the Leaving Cert is about 8-9 weeks away, and like the Leaving Certs that we know don't know what they want to do next year. So I think it's probably a mix of all 3 there, I'd say. But it's not easy to get into it here. Like even if you get the points for teaching or whatever, there's only a certain number of places that the college can take on as well. So you might just be unlucky to miss out in that way too. Maybe that's what I should have told you, that I missed out in that way.
There's obviously a big calling for us in that you had to go for an interview, and one of them actually turned you down. What was the basis of being turned down? Was it just sheer numbers or?
Sheer numbers, yeah. Like you're talking about, like you had to do aptitude tests over there. You had to do and I did absolutely fine on them. You had to do a presentation. I did fine on that. They just said it was the sheer weight of numbers that you were just unlucky. And then the second time around, which was like the very next day, like I was so happy to get that call. Like I was absolutely delighted. But then when I went actually moving over, like I really didn't want to move over. I remember like my dad dropping me to the airport, and like we were in the kind of boarding area, and I actually said, Dad, can we go out of the airport and can we just go for a spin in the car? So we went out of that area where where you view the planes coming in. Yeah. And we just actually sat in the car, I'd say, for about probably 45 minutes, and he had to convince me to actually get in the plane, because I was like, here, I want to go back and play football. I don't want to do this crack. I'll do whatever. I'll try. And he was like, well, sure, that's no good to you. So, look, at the end of the day, I was glad to listen to his advice, because if I didn't do that, sure, God knows what, probably wouldn't have turned.
He didn't try to convince you to be the farmer, no?
No, he would have known. I think, sure, what was it, 21 at that point? Absolutely, he had a pair of wellies for design, I'd say, more than anything else. He'd know I'm useless at that.
And that was about 2007, is that what you said?
Yeah, that was 2000. No, we won the championship in 07, so it was 08 I went over. Yeah, I think I finished college in '07. I kind of did a bit of subbing for a year. I remember when I left college, I got a call from a secondary school principal in Granard, and he just said to me, "I see you have an Irish degree there," and I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Would you fancy teaching Irish up to Leaving Cert, because we have a female teacher on maternity leave, and we're struggling to get a replacement." And I said, I've absolutely zero experience, like either in the classroom. I have Irish as a degree, and he said, "Yeah, no, that's fine." And I was like,
Really?
"Grand." So I went from leaving college at the age of 21 or whatever, and I was teaching Irish up to Leaving Cert, and then only like sure probably 18, like. So that was a mad experience. So I did that for a few months till that maternity leave was over, and then it was just subbing in primary schools. And it was kind of then when I really knew that I really wanted to do that. I really liked it, and yeah, the interviews were kind of in between then. So it was actually the following September where I would have gone over to Brunel then.
And did you ever think about following the secondary school route, or why primary
No,
school instead?
definitely not. No, yeah, I don't know. Like even in like, I actually really liked my time in Granard. Really enjoyed it. The kids were actually pupils were good crack. They were dedicated to their learning. But I just like, even especially nowadays, like I would never have any interest in being a secondary teacher. I just think it's kind of crazy with phones and everything like that. I just think it's bananas, and it's not really something I'd be interested in. So no, I kind of like the primary school
Yeah.
level. Just always wanted that. Never, like, literally me going into Granard that time was just literally earning money. A different experience. It was a chance to get home as well. I was up in Dublin. I was ready to do something in Dublin, but when the chance came up to be at home again, be around the football for the year or whatever, being at home, not missing any trainings. Because I was the type now, when I was living in Dublin and they wanted you to go out and train in the Phoenix Park for Wednesday, if Man United were playing on the Wednesday, it was staying at home watching United instead of training on the Wednesday night. But
All
we don't
right.
have Champions League football much these days anyway. So
And for people who say, like, teaching is teaching, just you have a good kind of feeling that primary school is a lot different than to secondary school, even though it is teaching. I know obviously you teach the class all their subjects, where in secondary
yeah.
school you're specific, whether it's Irish, geography, or English. But then, what is the definitive thing that I know you said about the phones and all that? But what are the other big differences, to say, between primary school and secondary school teaching?
I suppose like you're laying the foundations for everything. Like you're going across an array of different subjects. Um, it's, I suppose, you're setting them up for secondary school. Um, even behavior, like the way you try to get them to behave in primary school is the way you hope they behave in secondary school. You're giving them the basics for like all the different subjects that when they go to secondary school, that they can apply themselves even more when they get up there, and they can have I suppose, a foundation for learning and developing those skills when they get into secondary school. And then the same then with like different sports and that you introduce them in primary school. You hope that they continue them on in secondary school. That's really the only difference, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, when I was in Granard, I thought they were all great and everything like that. I just know that from being in primary teaching the last, I think it's 13 years or whatever it is now, I just prefer that and I like that, and I wouldn't change it. Like,
Did you ever try and sneak any Gaelic into the English primary schools when you were over there?
yeah, I did, and
Come on,
they
Ireland.
really enjoyed it. Like, I remember showing them different videos of it before we went out to do it. Like, and they just thought it was absolutely bats. Like, I mean, I,
Yeah.
I think I don't know what I typed in. I think it was GA hardest hits or something in terms of shoulders and stuff, and they were just like, the shock in their faces was unreal. But no, I brought it in, like, and they really enjoyed it. Like, and you did a couple of sessions with them. They wanted more because it was just probably the sheer novelty of it. Like, but yeah, I think actually it was funny when you go into teaching primary school, you have soccer is the big one obviously over there, and I mean, when like I taught across two different schools over there, and the schools are graded in terms of Ofsted is the inspectors over there, and they work for the government or whatever, and they're graded in terms of unsatisfactory. Inadequate is actually the lowest, which is absolutely shocking. So you could be in an adequate school, satisfactory, good, very good, and outstanding. So they're the different levels that you can work in.
Mm.
And I remember, like, when you go into the schools, soccer is always the first sport to be taken, so it's very hard to get your hands on anything else. So I actually threw the hands at cricket.
No way.
And I absolutely knew nothing about cricket. Like, I hadn't a clue. Like, but I observed it with another teacher the first year I was there on my teaching practice, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I started learning a bit about it, started watching it a bit more, and then I took over the girls' team and the boys' team in the two different schools I was in, and we won out Slough, which is a very, very big. I suppose, what would you call it? It's not a county, but it's a big town anyway. And then Berkshire is the county, and we went through to represent Slough and Berkshire. And sure, didn't we win that as well? So we won Slough, we won Berkshire, and then we got to the Southeast final. And the team we lost to, I think, in the final were from Nottingham, and they were actually the the All England champions the year before that. And it was just unbelievable. Like, so, that was, you just threw your hand at whatever you could, like, because I'm sports mad. Like, I watch, like Bertie will tell you that. I watch any sport going, and sure, if I get my hands at cricket, that was it. Like,
and like that, have you brought cricket back to the Irish schools at all? Have you tried to introduce it?
no, although funny enough, there's see, I suppose you have Gaelic, you have soccer, you have, like, I coach the girls coming among school team in the school, and the same with the mixed team as well. But there's a couple of Asian kids, like there's one boy from Pakistan and one boy from India in my class, and you'll often see them bring in the bats and the balls as well for cricket. So, like, they couldn't believe that I knew how to bowl and stuff. And then I told them the story about England, and sure, they thought it was unreal, like, you know.
Deadly. And do you know, like, now the full rules of cricket?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I know how to get the sixes and the fours, and I also know how to get out as well. So, but yeah, no, it would, to be fair, like, yeah, it's something you just have to learn. Like, it's like any sport, you just learn it very quickly.
Well, when you're watching cricket, though, it seems to be like a whole day thing. How did that work with the school?
Yeah, it's not like a whole day thing with school.
Is there like a mini version of it? Like,
yeah, so, like, say, I think it's 2020 cricket or something like that. If I haven't, it's funny now, since I've come back, I barely watch it at all. But I think 2020 cricket is the short version, and then you have there's like a 3-day, there's like a long weekend version and a week-long version of it as well. But the 2020 cricket is the one that's really short. So, like, that's the one where you'll see everybody trying to whack the sixes, where it goes, like, over the line without rolling across the line. And then if it rolls across the boundary, then it's 4. So, yeah, no, it's a great game. The quick version is a brilliant game. Great crack.
And then you were talking about standards of school, whether exemplary or inadequate in that. What way are they graded in Ireland the same?
No. Well, there is inspections in Ireland, but it's kind of more a detailed report type thing, and it tells you, like, don't get me wrong now, it goes in exactly to how the school is doing. And it does kind of grade you, but it's not a huge thing, like, in comparison to England. Like, in England, you lose your job if you're not doing very well. Like, I mean, I could tell you some scary stories. Like, the first school I was in, it used to be called Lee Junior, and then when I joined on teaching practice, it was in transition from a non-denominational school, or maybe was it a Christian school? I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't that in my time anyway. It was a Muslim school, it was an Islamic school, so it was called Iqra. And like, it was just mad. It was absolutely bats. The leadership was absolutely atrocious. Like, I think I can say that. So it was really, really poorly ran. And I mean, the teachers, there was kind of a transition with teachers, where there was a lot of the old teachers moving across, and then there was a lot of new teachers trying to get the ethos into the school. But I think they were completely losing their way. And I was in teaching practice, and I remember the principal, she just said to me at the end, come here, you did very well on your teaching practice. Will you work here? And I just said, yeah, sure, go on, because there was no interview needed. And there was that big kind of financial crash in Ireland at the time in 08, 09. So it was going to be very difficult to get back for a teaching job. So I remember ringing the family at home and told them the crack anyway, and they said, oh, you should take it, so, because there doesn't look to be any jobs coming here. Like, there was a huge shortage of teaching jobs. I took the job anyway, and within the 2 years, the school was just failing. Like, it was going from, like, the inspectors were in, it was doing really badly. And, like, I was always doing quite well in my inspections or observations, as they're called over there. And, like, I was coming out with good, very good, outstanding. but there was other teachers I knew over there and they were coming out with an adequate. But if you got an inadequate lesson, and that was maybe just say the principal watching you with another teacher, but then if Ofsted come in, who are the big royal inspectors, if they come in, like their grading is really, really serious. That means that the principal's grading is very serious as well. So if you get one inadequate, they're going to observe you maybe 2 days later. If you get another inadequate, they're going to observe you and give you a chance in a couple of weeks again, but they'll actually try and give you a little bit of support in that time. So what happened then is if you did another bad one and you got an inadequate, you were brought into a room and you were given an option. The option, I think, was that if you leave now, we're going to give you a very good report to any school that's going to take you. We're going to give you a really good reference. But if you don't go, you're just going to end up losing your job. Gee. So most of them would take the option and leave. But like I would have seen, I think 3 or 4 people in that scenario, and like their mental health, my God, would just deteriorate like really, really badly. And I saw that. So after 2 years, I had this interview in this outstanding school called Three Bridges in Ealing. And, you know, when you're at an inadequate school and they would have known that, I thought, Jesus, I'm getting an interview here at a really, really good school. Like, I wonder, will they actually accept me considering the position my school was in at the time? And I went in and I did an interview, and like as part of the interview as well, you actually have to go and teach a lesson to a group of kids that you've never met before.
Also, like a practical interview as well.
Absolutely. And I actually think, to be honest with you, I actually think it's brilliant. It's a really, really good thing to see, because anybody, and they don't do it that way in Ireland, but when you do an interview over here, you don't really get a sense. You get a sense a little bit of what the person is like, but that's just maybe a 50-minute glimpse. Like you could go off and just be acting in that, like, and you could be absolutely anything. But if you see a teacher do a lesson, you can see their interactions, you can see the rapport, you can see that they're a genuinely nice person, you can see that they're a good teacher, they're getting their messages across, they're teaching across to the kids as well, and the kids are learning from it. So anyway, I did the interview, did the lesson, and I got the job. And like I was gutted in a way to leave the old school, because I had done my teaching practice there, and in my first year of teaching ever, the class I had was actually my teaching practice class, and they're always kind of your most special class, because like they're your first ever class, and I had them on teaching practice, so that was really cool, and I absolutely loved that. But the time was right, because you have to develop your career then. So like it was absolutely brilliant to have that time there, but you know, you have to step up and step forward in your career or whatever. And then when I went to the other school, I was there for 5 years, but like the standards were really, really so much higher, and like the management was really, really kind of clued into absolutely everything. And you know, you were starting to learn then about, and in my first school, I was actually the maths leader in my old school. And then when I went into the new school, I was the SPHE leader. And, you know, you brought a little bit of management with that as well. But you were just learning things about, like, you know, the lesson starters, the main part of the lesson, the plenary then as well. So it was just so different, like, and like all the teachers were on it, like, you know, they were just really, really switched on and really good. And I was there for 5 years. And after 5 years, I actually came back for football reasons to Ireland, to be honest with you, because, which sounds absolutely daft, but number one, I wanted to come home. I wanted to be here. And then number two, I was in a funny position where I had never played senior championship football with my club. And we had a brilliant panel in 2007 of like 40 players. I think we had 2 teams. We had 3 teams, senior, intermediate and junior. And I was 30 or 31 at the time, and I hadn't made my debut. And I said to myself, like, if I don't do this, I'll be saying like that, okay, right, he won 3 championships with the under-21 team, but he never had a senior career. Yeah. And I just couldn't have that. And like anybody who knows me will know I'm just football through and through. So in my last game over in London, and I was playing over there for the 7 years, I ruptured my ACL, MCL, tore the meniscus, and fractured my knee all in the one go. And I had lost 2.5 stone to get into a a method that I suppose a body function that I'd be able to play football over here was flying it. I was down to 10 stone, shape of my life, as they'd say. And all in that moment, I ruled myself out for 18 months and I was absolutely gutted. But I gave up. The job was gone over there. I handed in my notice and I came back to Ireland then. So that was 2015.
And that's what brought you home finally.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like I love my time in England, but it was either if I don't come home now, I'll possibly never come home. And like family is very important as well. I didn't want to stay in London the rest of my life. Remember, I only wanted to stay over there for 1 year. It ended up being 7. The burning ambition to win a championship with my club starting was massive. I never achieved that. But what I did achieve is like the surgeon in England, in London, she told me I'd never play football again. And I went up and I saw your man, what's his name, up in Santry?
Ray Moran.
Yeah. Ray Moran said to me, I'll get you back straight away. And 18 months later, and you have to put in a lot of hard work. Like I made my championship debut then with the club. And like that meant the world to me. And then I was on the team. We won the Bertie Allen, which is the competition without the county players. And like I've 2 senior medals, championship medals, but I'm a bit funny like that. I don't count them because I was on the panel. Like I kind of do now because you're retired or you're not playing anymore or whatever. But the Bertie Allen means so much more to me, and it's a much lesser competition. But I was playing on that, and so I kind of fulfilled my promise of coming home and that. Then I got lucky enough then to be back teaching then in a couple of different schools where I was like, it's really difficult to get a permanent job in Ireland. Like it's actually mad. Like when you come back here, you have to kind of earn your stripes in terms of you have to get onto this panel. And once you're on the panel, then these permanent jobs can become available. But it takes 2 or 3 years for that to happen. And I personally think that's absolutely madness. Like I think every interview that anybody should do should be just an open forum that everybody can be able to go for it and get the job, whether it's permanent, temporary, maternity, whatever.
And that's the way it was then in England. It was just like pure interview. You could go for whatever job at whatever stage you wanted.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Now there'd be no point in a teacher with a year's experience going for a principal job because they look at the reference there straight away and they'd just be like, sure, you only have a year's teaching done. Sure, you're never going to get that. But like for a pure teaching job or whatever, everybody should be able to go for that. In my opinion, I just think panels are a waste of time. And then like even in Ireland, if you're say if you're teaching in Dublin and you're permanent in Dublin and you want to come back and live in Longford or whatever, wherever, like if your circumstances change, you're getting married, you're settling down or whatever, you have to actually quit your teaching job. You can't just and then you have to try and get in the panel down here unless somebody swaps with you. Now, that's very unlikely to happen. So it's a banana system. It's crazy.
Yeah, I always think that rule is from when education kind of started and you wanted to keep hold of a teacher like in the 20s or the 40s or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'll make a comparison there. It's a bit of a mad comparison, but I see there in Camogie there, the girls are trying to get rid of the skirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the one shorts, and sure, any girl that you play like shirts, it's just daft rules from olden times or whatever.
And then just the final question there, because we have a little quiz for you to do before we wrap up. But when you come back from England, what is the main thing you have to do to be able to teach in Ireland? Because obviously, does the cert or the degree you done in England transfer straight back to Ireland?
Yeah, it does pretty much. Although you have to do this thing in Irish as well. God, the name of it's gone out of my head now, but you have to do this little bit in Irish, and you have to apply to the teaching council. There's a lot of paperwork with it. Like they kind of make it really hard for you. And the teaching council, I mean, it's gas. You pay the teaching council whatever. I think it's 120 or whatever it is every year, and they don't do anything for you. Like it's absolutely mad. But you have to do a little bit in Irish. Now, I was kind of lucky at an Irish degree. So I think I had to go to the Gaeltacht for a few weeks. I had to be observed in Irish, but I was exempt from different essays, different tests. So I was kind of lucky in that regard. So if anybody does this and who wants to become a teacher or whatever, or is coming back or wants to become a teacher, do Irish as a degree. It saves you a lot of bother after.
It's that time, you know the name. It's the reason we all came. Find the words that are the same. It's that time to play the Waffle Game.
you have to give me the same 5 answers that I have here in order to win the waffle game. You get nothing for just the fact that you've won it if you do win it.
Great.
Okay?
Great.
So, Kevin, in 30 seconds, specifically, can you name 5 90s Tom Cruise movies?
Oh my God. Right. Top Gun. Oh my God. I love let me see. I love Tom Cruise as well. Let me see. Top Gun. Eyes Wide Shut.
Go on, keep going.
We see Mission Impossible. Oh my God. Days of Thunder. That's 4. Is that 4?
Yeah, keep
3.
going. Keep going. Yeah, just round them off. You have about 3 seconds left.
Oh my God.
3, 2,
Oh,
1.
time's up.
Time's up.
Okay, so we Mission Impossible. We had that.
Yeah.
Days of Thunder. So that's 2. We also had Jerry Maguire, The Firm, and A Few Good Men. They were the 5 that I had.
Do you know what the funny thing is? A Few Good Men is actually probably one of my favorite movies of all time. That's where I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
And,
It was actually on last night.
Yeah.
Or Saturday night.
You don't realize though that when you listen to those quizzes, you think it's easy, and then when you're put in the spot, that's actually really difficult. So no wonder I never enter.
It is sadistic, isn't it? Your brain just goes absolutely blank.
I think we've
That's
only
exactly
had
what happened.
we've only had 2 people that got 5, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, only 2 ever.
Out of all our guests. You'll also get the limited edition, very well sought after, the JB Waffle Hour podcast wooden coaster.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
You're bringing it down Wednesday, yeah?
Yeah, we can do a presentation on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But we'll wrap up on that, Kev. Thank you very much for coming on and explaining about your love for teaching and your various teaching ability.
Pleasure, yeah.
In England and Ireland.
It's a brilliant profession. Like, never regret getting into it, and like every kid you teach has their own story. It's absolutely, like, I love working with kids. It's absolutely brilliant. And I'd never change the profession for anything. Like, it's super.
And as you said, there's not one way to skin a cat. There's many ways to get into it.
Absolutely, yeah. You have to teach different kids in different ways. All siblings are different. The whole lot. It's great crack.
Right, Bertie, it's shell bomb time.
Shell bombs.
Will I go first, or do you have your...
You can buy your head.
Oh my God, so underprepared. All right, I'll give you a good one now. Did you know, Bertie, that crocodiles can gallop like a horse, apparently? When envisioning creatures traversing landscapes, majestic horses often come to mind rather than those that are scaly and close to the ground. But surprisingly, in 2019, a study published in Nature revealed that remarkable characteristics of crocodiles asserted that crocodiles possess the full range of quadruple footfall patterns used by mammals, so enabling them to engage in a gallop much like a horse, and on occasion they do. While their gait may lack the grace of a horse, crocodiles can achieve speeds of up to 11 miles per hour. That is absolutely terrifying. I am never going to poke a crocodile ever again. That's me done with that now.
Did you ever wonder about sheep? Man. It's actually called bleating. But anyway,
Nice.
and each sheep, you might think that when you listen to a sheep has, like, that sheep has the same meh as that sheep over there, man. But each sheep has an individual meh.
No way.
That's completely different, and the lamb is the same. So the lamb will know which mam belongs is theirs because, by the way, the meh.
No way.
Yeah, whether it's the pitch, the sound, or whatever, and it's all individual between lamb and yo.
And
Baby and mammy.
do you think that lambs in Boards Mill have a different accent to lambs from Navan? Ma.
Well, the OG flock I have is from Oldcastle, so they probably have a
way.
a more North Mead accent maybe than the lambs that were reared in Borsmill.
Jesus, well, there you go. Well, I suppose that's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, Bertie, I think that's shell bombs.
Shell bombs.
Let's do it.